I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
I didn't figure you as one for bullshit. We fight! You tell me when I'm being an arrogant son of a bitch, and I tell you when you're being a pain in the ass.
I mean, seriously, I feel like I'm financially inside of you or something.
Okay.
I'm jacked.
I'm jacked to the test! Open the door for them.
Would you put on some clothes, please?
Oh, I'm sorry, is this bothering you?
No, it's not.
Cal, my schwanz is in your face for 20 minutes. If it's not bothering you, we got a bigger problem.
Okay, it bothers me.
I don't care.
Did you fall down the hill?
I had like 3 drinks tops.
Yeah, that's why you can't walk straight.
Oh, excuse me, I'm carrying a dead body and I have a schwanz in my face, so I'm sorry I'm not Prakishnerov.
You can't even say Baryshnikov. You did, didn't you? You fell down the hill. You get drunk, you lose your gun, you take your header off the balcony, and now you're going to tell me it's like a hallowed time on a detective ploy, right?
It was very slippery up there, okay? I was in the pool.
You were in the pool?
Yeah.
Why?
I had to question the mermaids. What were you doing while I was working? Thank you.
Let's get rid of this guy.
Oh, God.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to another special episode of the Best Thing We've Seen podcast. My name is Flo.
And I'm Gabe, and I'm really excited for this one.
Aren't we always excited for the special episodes, though?
We are, but the last one, this one are very special.
Yes.
Because I think we're both big fans of both of these actors. Yes, it's another male.
Well, it's in the title. I mean, and we
Fair
just
enough,
heard the intro too.
Yeah.
But
all right.
I think we've done this is our 8th special episode, and I think we've been big fans of every single actor we've done it on. No,
Yeah,
it's fair to say.
I already forgot who the second and third one were. The first one was Brad Pitt, then we had
Amy Adams,
yeah.
Emma Stone, Bradley Cooper.
It was Emma Stone, right? Emma Stone, Bradley
Scarlett
Cooper.
Johansson.
A couple of great ones, yeah.
Yeah. So, how you doing, Gabe?
I'm doing fine. I also have to get back to doing stuff for university, as you just told me you have to do as well.
Yeah.
Which sucks because time is running out and I'm way too fucking lazy for my own good. So
Sure.
We'll see how it works out. How about you?
Well, it's been a stressful couple of days and weeks, but I've been looking forward to this recording because this guy, Ryan Gosling, obviously is in the title. We're going to talk about his career today. I don't think, and I'm being genuine now, I don't think there's an actor that has a more impressive filmography than this guy. I'm being quite genuine with this.
Dude, I totally agree. Looking at his Letterboxd credits, what he has been in, just looking through all the things, and I was like, all right, he's done this and this, all of this great. I scrolled down, and then
more.
The list pretty much ends because he doesn't have that many more films and all of his fucking greats.
Yeah,
pretty much every one of his films is like a masterpiece.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I was excited to record this, and even though it's a stressful time for me, it's just, hopefully we'll have some fun talking about this guy. And yeah, we also have to say that this is another fan requested episode. It sounds so weird to say fan requested.
I think it's the first fan request, right?
You're right. Hold on.
We
just
were
mentioned
doing
it, right?
the next one or the one after that. We'll do the second request, but this is the first request that we actually took and are excited to do.
Are you sure? I'm
Pretty sure.
I think I'm having a
Jake
brain fart
Gyllenhaal
right now.
and Scott Jensen, all of those were not fan requests. The other one was one of your favorites, which I'm not going to name because we'll see when we're going to do this. But
we can name it. It was Nicolas Cage because we talked about it on an episode before. We teased that we might have to do that too because someone told us to do it on him.
Yeah, but it's going to be some time maybe because I have so much to watch from him.
Dude, I'm ready tomorrow.
I know you are.
But yeah, this one was definitely someone that we wanted to do because we're big fans of him, and we also had a fan request it, so of course we're going to do it. And thank you for the request, and we hope we can provide with an interesting episode. And as always, the goal of these episodes are just to give you guys something to watch. Maybe you haven't heard of all of these things that we're going to talk about today, and maybe maybe you're going to want to see them after we discuss them. And that's always the greatest thing if you can recommend something to someone that they enjoy. And
right,
do you want to just give them a quick rundown of what this special episode is, opposed to just a regular episode?
Yeah, because on regular episode we just list the best thing that we've seen in the last week. But in the special episode we count down our top 10 lists of the best thing that we've seen from person, in this case Ryan Gosling, and on our number 1 spot we're gonna tell you the best thing that we've seen from that person. The thing is, with this list we probably have some overlapping films which are probably at some points not on the same tier on our respective lists. So if that is the case, and I have something on my number 7 spot and Flo has it on his number 6 spot, we're gonna do the discussion right then and there. But if I have something on my number 9 spot and Flo has it on his number 3 spot or something like that, we're gonna postpone the discussion for later.
Right. And as always, we mention it all the time on special episodes. The concept of our show is that we're not just going to talk about movies, but then again, we always seem to talk about movies, but it could be, it is. Ryan Gosling is someone who is definitely known for his movies. I mean, has he been in some TV shows?
I think he was a Disney kid, wasn't he, when he grew up? So maybe
the Mickey Mouse Club,
there.
no?
Yeah.
But it could also, the list could also include YouTube videos. So we had that on the Bradley Cooper special, for example. I think you chose the Between Two Ferns episode, and I chose the his appearance on Jimmy Fallon, where they both couldn't stop laughing. So
I didn't even think about this with Ryan Gosling, because there's a great YouTube video. I might just make a last minute change to this. You know what? I will.
I'm glad you prepared.
I know. I got blindsided by his amazing movie career, but this is just too good.
All right, I'm excited. But yeah, I think we should just get right into it. Are you ready with your list now? Have you changed it?
I've changed up my number 10 spot, which I'm sorry about because it's a great piece of cinema. But
hold on one second. I'm just looking up really quickly if this guy, what has he been in? I'm just looking on his IMDb, the early stuff. It's just been one episode appearances on some shows, and then I think, as you said, he was in Breaker High for 44 episodes. I have not heard of this. A group of students attend high school on a cruise ship. Brilliant.
Never heard of it, all right?
No. Yeah, but I think his first big role was in Remember the Titans, the football movie.
Yeah, a film that I haven't seen, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll talk about it, maybe we won't. But
I mean, there are just so many great films on this list that I don't think it would have made the list, except if it was amazing, fucking amazing. But
no, I prepared for this episode. I watched quite a few things, and it turns out that not a single one of those things made my list.
New things, or also a couple of rewatches?
Both. Well,
right.
No, the rewatches made my list.
Right.
But at least one of them did. But because when we first set the topic of Ryan Gosling, I wrote down my temporary top 10, and I was like, okay, what in the world could possibly replace one of those things? Because it's just so good already. But I was like, okay, I have to watch certain things. I've been missing some big things as well, and now I just watched them, and neither of them or not a single one of them made my list. But maybe we'll talk about it on your list.
I don't. Maybe, because from the 3 new films that I watched, none of them will make my list either, sadly. But
okay.
We'll see. Maybe something that you've seen for the first time now. Although I don't think it is. It's impossible, I think.
Well, let's get into the list. Let's
All right.
check it out. I think it's my turn to start, because I think you started off with Okja on the Gyllenhaal special.
Yeah, I think you're correct, yeah.
So let's get into it. I'm excited for this. This guy, I mean, what a career, right? What a filmography. And what a thingography. No. I regret saying it now. Right, so my number 10. That was a tough one. I want to say one thing too. My number
toughest.
1 through 5 was pretty set. Once again, not the order, but the movies or the things. They were set. The 10 spot was incredibly difficult. Everything else sort of fell into place, but the 10 spot was difficult. I had so many things fighting for this, and I have some controversial omissions once again. Really controversial. And you're even, I think, for you. But my number 10 ended up being The Nice Guys.
Ooh, yeah, that's further up for me.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. All right, let's, your turn. So we're just going to save that discussion to once we get to it on Gabe's list.
Right. All right, my number 10 thing was something different 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But now I picked a YouTube video because why not? We rarely do this. I think we've only done it on the Bradley Cooper episode.
I'm not sure, but we're sure. Yeah,
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. So I picked Ryan Gosling won't eat his cereal because that's such a fucking classic of a meme.
What?
You notice? Don't you notice the videos of Ryan Gosling won't eat his cereal?
I'm not sure now. This is like an old thing, no?
Yeah, it's like a guy photoshopped in interviews with Ryan Gosling, or maybe also a couple of his film scenes of somebody like trying to spoon feed him cereal, and he just does a hand move and knocks the spoon out of the person's hand.
Right.
And it's such a great fucking meme. And then eventually the guy who made those videos died, sadly.
Oh God.
And Ryan Gosling, in a tribute to that guy, made a video of him actually eating cereal.
Eating his cereal. Yeah.
And yeah, it's just a fucking amazing meme, and it's so well edited. And
dude, I'm so interested in hearing what movie that replaced. Now for number 10 spot. I love the pick. But what a pick. Do you want to mention what your number 10 was?
Yeah, because I don't think it's on your list either.
Okay.
It would have been my number 10. Now, was like maybe should have put it 8, 9. It was such a hard decision, but
always
I've
fluid.
only seen it once, and it's a cool film, but his performance was also very great.
Right.
But yeah, it was First Man.
Okay. Wow.
Is it on your list?
Yeah, we'll get to that.
All right. Wow.
All right. So my number 9 now, right?
Mm-hmm.
My number 9 is a movie that I'm just gonna say it's called Stay. Is that on your list?
I haven't seen that one. No, it was on my to-watch list for this special, but I didn't get to it.
Well, Stay. This is a movie that came out in, I think, in like 2005. This is one of his earlier roles. And it stars Ryan Gosling, Ewan McGregor, and Naomi Watts. And it is one of the... how do I say this? It is a very weird film, and it is genuinely a film that only makes sense at the end. And that is something that might sound appealing to you. For other people, it might sound incredibly boring and like unappealing, because when you watch this film, and if you don't know anything about it, you're going to be like, I don't know how long the movie is, but right until the very end, you're going to be like, what the fuck is going on? I'm being very genuine, because it starts off with a car crash, and then it's got weird edits all over the place, and people are talking to each other, people are changing, like people are swapping positions during their discussions, and people are leaving the frame on the right side and entering it again on the left side, and a couple of there's a scene where just like hundreds of twins are just running past the main character.
All right.
It literally doesn't make sense, and I'm being vague as well, because I don't want to give away anything. It genuinely just all makes sense at the end, and even if it doesn't make sense to you at the end, it will. You can look up videos on YouTube. There's like analysis videos of this movie, because it is supposed to be like it. First of all, it completely bombed at the box office. No one loved it. No one understood it, basically, and now it's sort of generated a little bit of a following where Chris Stuckman did a brilliant analysis. Chris Stuckman, like a YouTube reviewer, that I really encourage you to watch after you saw the movie, because if you understand the movie, you want to watch it again immediately, because then the whole movie makes sense. And it is really, really, it's directed by Marc Forster, who did like Finding Neverland, and so now I'm blanking on everything, but he's hold on, I need to look this up, because he's done so many great things. He really has.
But Ewan McGregor is the main character in this film.
No,
right?
it is Gosling.
It is Gosling,
it is
right?
Gosling,
because I looked up the film and he wasn't first billed, so I just assumed that it was Ewan McGregor.
You could argue that it's the two of them.
All right.
But the story sort of centers around, well, actually, yeah, you could argue that it's the two of them are the main actors, and even Naomi Watts as well. But Ryan Gosling is definitely one of the main actors. Hold on, here, Marc Forster. He did All I See Is You. That's why I knew that we talked about him on one of our podcast episodes. I think you watched that by now, right? The Blake Lively one where she's blind.
Yes,
yeah.
I have.
And he's done World War Z and Quantum of Solace.
Christopher Robin,
Christopher Robin, Stranger Than Fiction, which we both love.
Right.
And Monsters Ball, a great director. And Stay is certainly up there with one of his best films. So check it
Very
out.
different films.
Yeah, for sure.
Kite Runner, and then Things Like Stranger in Fiction.
Yeah, it's a really interesting movie. That's all I'm going to say.
All right, cool pick.
What's your number 9?
My number 9 is something that's going to be most definitely in your top 3.
I know what you're going to say.
Crazy Stupid Love.
I'm going to say it's higher than 9. Yeah, I'm not going to say where it is.
Just a guess on my
It's
part.
outrageously low, by the way. My number
I'm going
8,
to talk about it why later.
My number 8 is First Man, which we just talked about. I'm interested. I thought this was going to make your list because we saw this movie together at the film festival.
Yeah,
and I have to sound maybe a bit douchey and pretentious now, but
please do.
Yeah, thank you. I love to do it. But I saw this movie again in Berlin with my dad because there was a special. We were there for like sightseeing reasons, and we also wanted to watch this movie in IMAX. I'm not sure now if this movie was shown in IMAX 70 millimeters. I'm blanking on this now, which is embarrassing. But anyway, what it means is that if you watch this movie in IMAX, there's a sequence towards the end, the lunar sequence, where they're on the moon.
Spoiler.
Yeah, it's called First Man. It's about Neil Armstrong who was traveling to the moon. But
what? He did it?
Yeah, he did.
It was all fake.
No. Well, he could be. That's what the movie was.
No, it couldn't be. Let's not go down this road.
Yeah. But what was amazing is this lunar sequence at the end of First Man. Once they exit the spaceship, the whole screen expands and it literally like fills the entire wall. And that is so breathtaking because it also like it sucks the air out and you got like the silent landscape of the moon and just gigantic dimensions on the biggest screen you can imagine. That was sort of what I had to put this movie on my top 10 list because that sequence alone sort of it really took my breath away. And also the score. I mean, it's directed by Damien Chazelle, who did La La Land with Ryan Gosling, for example, and he also directed Whiplash, which I think is a masterpiece. I literally period. That's a masterpiece. And the score in all of those movies, I mean, Whiplash, I'm not sure if it has score other than just the drums, but it's done by Justin Hurwitz, who won an Oscar for La La Land, and he also scored First Man, and it's just incredible music as well, especially when they get to the moon as well. It's got some beautiful, beautiful music, and it's why did this make your list? I'm not judging.
Well, it was on my list like a couple of minutes ago, but yeah, I just thought I don't know. Ryan Gosling won't eat it serious, like iconic meme and just a funny thing.
Oh, sorry, that was your number 10.
It was my number 10, yeah. And First Man, it is a great film, and to say Ryan Gosling won't eat a cereal is a better thing is not true.
Of course.
First Man is just a better product, period. Just look at the production value. And I agree with you, especially like the lunar scene. And like you said, we watched together at the Vienna Film Festival.
Right.
It was not IMAX, but the sound was still amazing. And I would have loved to have seen it again in IMAX. Because like the scene with, like you said, absolute silence and then just those very minimal sounds coming out of like this the landing pod, and then the music with the landing sequence is breathtaking.
It is beautiful, yeah.
But I didn't think of it at first like as like the Ryan Gosling thing, because he's very cool and he's amazing in this film. He very much, I think, embodies like a bit of the shyness and
he's very
exclusiveness of Neil Armstrong.
Yeah,
I did seem quite shy actually.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't think of it like as the Ryan Gosling thing, and that's why I put it at number 10, because like number 9, also now my number 8 spot, which is coming up, is more of an, I don't know, funny character, I guess, and more memorable character.
Fair enough. I mean, it was a tough list. We had to make some tough omissions.
And I think the film is amazing. Go check it out, especially if you're interested in like space history.
Yeah, and Claire Foy is great, and their relationship is great.
Really is.
And I had to put it on. What's your number 8?
My number 8, don't know if it's gonna make your list. The Big Short.
That was a tough cut.
All right.
That was a tough cut.
The Big Short, I wasn't that big of a fan of it when I first saw it, but I rewatched it like a couple of days ago.
Yeah,
And-
you how many films did you rewatch for this? 25.
I watched 3 new films and I rewatched like 5 or 6.
That's commitment.
Yeah,
Very
in like
good.
the last 5 to 7 days.
Right.
Yeah, because we just came back on Sunday.
Yeah,
Anyway, yeah, it was way better than the way I remembered. Maybe I think I was just overwhelmed when I first saw it.
Was
And
this the
kinda-
first time you saw it again?
Yes,
Since the theater?
yes,
Okay.
it is.
Okay.
Or it was. And the thing is, it's about the real estate crisis and the economic crisis in the 2000s, in the 2008, 2009. I think 2008.
The housing
really
bubbles.
hit.
Yeah.
Anyway, and it is a quite complex topic, especially if you're not well versed in economic terms and things like that. And it's quite fast paced, and a lot of terms and things are thrown at you, and they try to explain in kind of like a relatable way with like Margot Robbie in a bubble bath explaining shit to you.
They play with that thing where
Yeah,
They-
and they talk a lot with the camera and
it was 2006, 2007. Sorry, I just looked it up.
right, yeah. And the narrator of this film, to kind of put this film a bit more into context, is Ryan Gosling, who also plays a character in this film. He narrates the film as the character. Who's this very eccentric, arrogant real estate or banking guy.
He's great.
And yeah, he is great, and he's so funny. And there's this one scene which was so great, and when I saw it again, I just remembered seeing it in the cinema, and just such a funny scene where
The
he goes
Jenga
to the bed.
pieces?
Also great.
I love that scene.
Where he goes to the bathroom and
yeah.
Tries to talk to somebody because they have like an insight into that the housing crisis is going to start, and they kind of bid against it. So when that happens, they get a big payout because they bid against the banks, pretty much. And he goes to the bathroom to talk to the guy he's doing this with, and kind of screams it and throws everybody out of the bathroom. Whoever wants to go in to take a leak, he just throws them out. And then when he hangs up the phone, the bathroom stall opens. There's this guy there, and it's such a funny scene. It's a great film, and it's quite complex, like I said, especially in the first watch.
It is.
So be prepared for that, but it is worth it, and it is quite an interesting topic or setting because it's quite a recent thing and it's quite an important thing, and it really shows you how like what is going on in the heads of like bankers and how this whole system is so fucked.
Yeah, and it's now a typical Adam McKay film. I mean, he's done it again with Vice, where he is sort of breaks the fourth wall in a way and just talks to the audience and just explains shit to them in between scenes. And as you said in Big Short, they did it with Selena Gomez and with Anthony Bourdain, the cook, and with Margot Robbie in a bubble bath. And it's just a fun way of sort of explaining difficult topics. And I agree with you. It is very difficult to understand. And even now, if I haven't seen it in, I don't know, 1 or 2 years maybe. But I would need a refresher on these things again. So it's a complex subject, but it's a great film, and Christian Bale in this, and Steve Carell,
amazing cast,
incredible.
Brad Pitt, and
oh, that's right. I think I had it on my list on the Brad Pitt thing. I think
I think so too. Yeah, it didn't make my list then because, like I said,
he's got a very small part.
Yeah, he like comes in at like over an hour into the movie.
Yeah.
But that's why I didn't put it on my Brad Pitt list, because I had forgotten how good this film is just because I think I was just so overwhelmed the first time I saw it.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why I didn't pick Big Short, it was tough. I wanted to put it on, but I just feel like Ryan Gosling was in the other things that I picked more. And I don't remember him being the narrator, actually. But I said I haven't seen it again. But I just remembered him sort of flying in and out of scenes and just being sort of like a side character more than and not like Steve Carell and Christian Bale. And
I think there are a few of them, but he's one of the few characters who also, except for like when he's narrating, actually look at the camera and like talk to them, because Steve Carell and Brad Pitt don't do this in this film.
You're right. But yeah, great pick. Love that movie.
What's your number 7?
My number 7. It's not going to make your list 100%. I know it. 1000%. I've recommended it before. Now I know it because you didn't like that movie. It's called Fracture. Love that movie. Absolutely
hate that
love
movie.
that movie. What do you mean? Hate that movie?
I really don't like it. Let's put it that way.
Oh, he's such a prick. Such a prick.
That's right. Talk about.
No,
Fracture.
I think I recommended it on one of our Netflix recommendations a couple of months ago by now. I mean, it's a courtroom film. It's a law drama with Ryan Gosling, Anthony Hopkins, who is hysterical in this movie as a guy who doesn't want a lawyer to defend him because he just sort of knows the justice system and he just knows what he has to say and feels untouchable, and he's like challenging Gosling's character. Come on, you can like get me. You can bring me down. Just look. Just what did I do? How did I manage to get away with this? And I just love I love Hopkins in this. It's a Ryan Gosling list, but Hopkins is sort of the main selling point for me for this movie. It's got Rosamund Pike in it as well as Ryan Gosling's boss, I believe, who develop a relationship, of course. And it just, it's a crime, murder, mystery, and Ryan Gosling is sort of trying to figure out what the hell actually happened, while the guy who is apparently the murderer is just sort of sitting right there and just like smiling because no one is able to figure out what he did. Love that movie.
I think it's an interesting film. I think it just didn't grab me. It just wasn't the kind of film for me. That's why I didn't like it that much.
Did you think it was an interesting movie? Be
I
honest.
think the premise was interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't think the execution was. I don't know.
It's totally fair.
I think I need to rewatch it to effectively argue why I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
been a while.
Yeah. I love that movie. What's your number 7?
Yeah. My number 7 is once again a film, but I'm not sure you have on your list, is Half Nelson.
Okay. No, it's not. It's not on my list.
Have you seen it?
I have seen it. Yeah.
All right. Half Nelson is a very serious drama with Ryan Gosling in the lead role, and it was actually his first Oscar nomination. He got it for this film. And the first time I saw it, I wasn't a huge fan of the film, especially like the ending, I think didn't really click with me.
Yes.
But on a rewatch, I appreciated it way more because I think I knew what to expect. And rewatching this was a bit of a chore.
Out of sync.
The film
on
was
Amazon?
amazing. Yeah. Did you rewatch it on Amazon as well?
Well, no.
The audio?
I wanted to look. I looked it up on Amazon, and
Yeah.
I saw that it was out of sync, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm not going to go through this.
That was, yeah.
But I have seen it. It's just I
Yeah,
wanted to like
alright.
saw certain scenes again. I wanted to see.
Yeah,
certain.
but like you just said, Half Nelson on Amazon Prime, it is on there, but it is out of sync. The audio, like half an hour in, before then it's
you actually
fine.
watched that? Like you like finished watching that out of sync?
I did.
That's
It was hard.
incredible. That's very impressive.
For like when I first noticed that it was out of sync, I just tried to do whatever I could. Like, I don't know, is there something I can do? Like change something in the settings, whatever.
Yeah.
Nothing. And it was infuriating.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did it anyway. And then after another half an hour, I kind of forgot about it. And I tried to not look at their mouths while they talk. That also helped.
Yeah.
But it was like half a second out of sync, which is a lot.
Do you think it's a justified nomination?
I think his performance was really fucking good, and just because he plays a teacher in like an inner city school in New York, I think, and he is also quite a fuck up in the way that he's also very much addicted to drugs. I think crack. It looks like crack. What he's smoking. Yeah, they actually said they found a crack pipe later, but he has a very good relationship with his students. He's a history teacher, and one of the students, whose name I've sadly forgotten,
Dre,
right? A girl named Dre in the school who he's becoming kind of friends with because he kind of drives her home, and she then kind of discovers that he's also got a drug problem. But they become kind of friends, and which is kind of a complicated thing. You can't just be friends with like a 13-year-old.
Yeah, it is a very strange relationship.
It is, but it's kind of understandable. And they kind of then, or Ryan Gosling kind of notices that it is weird.
Yeah.
But
well,
I don't
Anthony
know, they have
Mackie
this
sort of
connection.
challenges him. No.
Sorry, yeah, Anthony. That's right. Yeah, because Dre's brother went to prison. He was like an old friend of her brother, and he also is kind of one of those guys who sells drugs to Ryan Gosling.
Yep.
Which is just a recipe for disaster. That's a combination of three people.
Yeah.
But it's just such an interesting thing because you see Ryan Gosling trying to date there's a scene where he tries to date one of his colleagues, and although it seems to go so well, you kind of see how much he just starts fucking things up, because as much as he seems like a great guy when he's sober, as soon as he takes drugs, which he just can't stop, he just fucks everything up. And it's a very hard film at times, just because it seems quite real, and the way he behaves from becoming sober to becoming, well, he is a drug addict even when he's sober, but falling back into old patterns.
Yeah, I think he's very, very excellent in this film.
Yeah,
it's just that the movie as a whole, I didn't like the movie. I'm just gonna say I didn't like the movie. I
wasn't a huge fan of it. I mean, I did like it, but I wasn't a huge fan of it when I first saw it. Like I said, the ending is quite not what one would expect.
Yeah,
but I think it is.
I didn't mind the
second
ending,
rewatch or in the first rewatch. It is, I think, a pretty good ending, because it's not an absolute ending, and I think such a story can't have an absolute ending.
It actually ended. I was expecting a different ending. I was expecting the movie to be over after a certain scene, and then things happened that I didn't expect. But yeah. All right. Yeah. I mean, it's his one of 2 Oscar nominations, and it's a valid pick. It's a valid pick. He's great in this.
What's your number 6?
This is gonna be. You're gonna say this is higher for you. Now we're just getting into territory where every film I'm gonna say from now on till number 1 is excellent.
Yeah.
6 is Place Beyond the Pines.
It's a bit higher.
Okay.
We can talk about it now, if you want.
Is it your 5?
It's my 4.
Okay, sure. If you want to talk about it, sure. I mean, we talked about this on the Bradley Cooper special. I think we both had it very high on his list as well. And we're fans of this. This is a movie that I think not a lot of people have seen, and it's very difficult to explain. I think obviously we tried to do it on the Cooper special. It's a story told in 3
chapters.
Chapters. Thank you. And the first one is Ryan Gosling. He's a biker.
I wouldn't spoil who's in what chapter.
I wasn't going to say number 3.
All right.
But I appreciate you saying it nevertheless. Well, the first chapter is Ryan Gosling. His sort of arc story chapter.
Yeah.
Second one, Bradley Cooper sweeps in. And then the third one is I'm not going to say it. But it's so difficult to talk about the movie because we don't want to give it away.
Yeah, I thought about this as well when I rewatched it. I think 2 days ago, or maybe yesterday. I'm not sure. I think 2 days ago. Yeah. And I thought about this watching the film, how could you describe the film without telling somebody what it is actually about?
Right.
Because, when I first watched it, I had no idea, and just seeing it unfold is an amazing experience. And then I thought, the best way to describe it, and now I'm going to sound douchey maybe, it's I described, the chapters, the first one, being about love and what that does to people, the second one about corruption, the third one about loss.
Wow.
And it just,
not bad.
It's an amazing ride to go along,
well,
unintended.
Thank you. I was going to say, we can you can talk about the story. It's about a guy who is robbing banks in order to provide for the people he loves, and then Bradley Cooper is a cop who's trying to catch him. I mean, that's not giving away anything.
Sure, yeah, it's definitely a part of the film.
Right, well, yeah.
I think it's more of,
sure,
less about what the film's about, but more what, the characters go through.
Absolutely. Very well said. Yeah. Which, for it to make sense to you, what we're saying is please watch the film. Please seek it out.
Yeah,
it's an incredible
just
film.
Watch it. Yeah.
And it's directed by Derek Cianfrance, who's a guy who's going to be on your list again. We'll talk about him a bit later again. Yeah.
I think it's so funny just because you said the writer's name, because before we started recording, I had to look up how to pronounce his last name because I wasn't sure.
Yeah. And now you didn't. Yeah. All right. Should we? I mean, I think we talked a little bit more in depth about it on the Cooper special, but once again, it's a tough one to talk about.
It's I think it's that film on the list that you have to go in blind. Or to know, it's better to know less than more.
Right. What's your 6 now?
My number 6 is a film that I think you didn't like as much.
Okay.
pretty sure it's
Is
Drive.
it half Nelson?
No. I think Drive, you're not a huge fan of Drive, right?
I rewatched this.
All right.
It is
on your
my
list?
number 11.
All right.
It was a tough one, dude.
Fair
Really
enough.
tough one. Yeah.
But Drive is one of the first Ryan Gosling films that I saw and like thought to myself, all right,
Oh, wow.
dude, Ryan Gosling's pretty amazing. And the reason I watched this film because I heard great things about it, but I used to listen to a song my brother showed me. It was Night Call by Kavinsky, which is the opening song of Drive.
Mhm.
And when you look up Kavinsky Night Call, it says in brackets Drive soundtrack or something like that.
Right.
And everybody like in the comments, oh yeah, Drive, what an amazing scene. Whoa, whoa. And I was all right, I finally have to watch this fucking film, which, I mean, I'm telling you the story, but it was like 10 years ago. But it is an amazing film. It's such an amazing experience. And it's by Nicolas Winding Refn, a Danish director, which we were lucky enough to actually see live.
Yeah.
Because you invited me to go watch it's no longer his newest work, but it was his newest film.
Yeah.
Might be still his newest feature film. Neon Demon. And there was a Q&A after that where he was present, which was pretty cool. Thank you for that. But
Sure, you're welcome.
Drive is such an amazing film because it conveys so much emotion, and it is one of those films where like the soundtrack makes the film.
Absolutely.
Partly.
Yeah.
And
the
it has an
violence.
amazing soundtrack. And I know so many people who have watched the film and then listen to the soundtrack still.
Yeah.
Because it is just amazing. Like this and Real Human Being, which is like maybe the most prominent song in this film. And I learned something so interesting, a fun fact about this song.
Okay.
This song is about Sully, the pilot.
What?
Yeah. I looked this up. It wasn't like in the trivia from Sully, and then I looked it up because the singer-songwriter of this song, her dad or granddad, after the events unfold with like the landing in the Hudson,
Right.
her dad or granddad said that's a real human being and a real hero,
Oh, dude.
and that's what the song is based on.
I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
And yeah, it's about Ryan Gosling playing a getaway driver and then kind of meeting somebody, his neighbor, who's got a small kid, and kind of getting to know them, and him being quite a subdued gangster kind of guy, well, not really gangster, but criminal life, and then kind of trying to become part of this family and then getting sucked into the drama as well.
Yeah.
And I think pretty much everybody has heard of Drive, and it's one of the most mainstream artsy films out there, I think.
Yes.
And it deserves that title of being like this mainstream artsy film because it is not as hard to watch as some of the other films like that would fit that character. It's such a great experience just to watch it, and I think you should definitely check it out.
It is a great experience. And as you said, I think the music sort of makes the film, and just the vibe in general is quite unique and remarkable. It's got like this neon vibe to it as well. Neon Demon. But I think the violence is sort of also sticks with you because there's so many like different kills in this that are all quite memorable. There's not a single
both over the top and so realistic
right
at the same time.
There's not a single like gun to the head shot kill. It's like we're slicing up arms, we're using
blowing
shotguns,
faces off.
blowing faces off, stabbing a guy with a fork in the eye. I'm hoping maybe there is like I'm gonna say a regular kill in there as well, but it's just they all stick with you, and they're all like they're super violent and super gory as well at times. If you watch the uncut version, I think there's different versions.
Yeah, I was unlucky enough to once see the cut version, which is not half as cool.
Yeah,
but also an amazing cast. You have Carey Mulligan as his love interest, Oscar Isaac. You have Bryan Cranston. It is a cool film, and
you could go on. I mean, you got Ron Perlman.
Yeah, he's like, dude, I completely forgot it. He was like the bad guy.
One of the bad guys with Albert Brooks. I mean, it's a great cast.
But also cool sound design, just of him driving the car. You really get goosebumps of him going through the city.
Dude, my favorite scene of the whole film is the first one. And
the opening scene is amazing.
It reminded me, like, obviously, Baby Driver came out years after it.
Yeah, but it's
And
like
that-
the OG Baby Driver scene.
Sure. But I think the opening of Baby Driver is also the great. I did not like Baby Driver, but the opening was great. Just the getaway driver sort of proving his skills.
Yeah.
But I think it's got nothing on Drive, and the way they introduced and included the basketball game. You saw it recently, right?
No, I haven't seen it
Oh, you
in
haven't seen
years. But I
There's
still
sure. No, sure. But it just starts off with him just being in his room watching a basketball game, and the way that sort of comes into play during that first getaway scene, I think is brilliant, and it just sets up the whole movie so well.
And
yeah,
I think also the director kind of mastered the art of cool, because the jacket he wears
Yeah.
wears is such a cool jacket, but in real life, if somebody would wear it, it would look so fucking ridiculous.
Well, so many people have bought it since it's like an official merch
and
thing now.
those people look ridiculous because only Ryan Gosling in that setting can pull it off
with that lighting and stuff. Yeah. Great pick.
Right.
Yeah, it was a tough omission.
Yeah, dude. I'm excited to hear number 5 then.
Well, number 5 is La La Land.
All right, it's a bit higher.
Okay, wow. Okay.
All right, my number 5 is something you had at number 9 or 10, Nice Guys.
Yes.
Which is crazy to me. Well, crazy. I think I had to put it this high, and I did put it before Drive, although I think all in all I love Drive more, just because it means more to me. I think Nice Guys is just it's one of the best comedies I know, just because you can rewatch it and it's still funny, and every time I watch it I find something new and I have something new to laugh about. And Ryan Gosling just shows how much of a great comedic actor he is, and I would love to see him in another comedic role. And I think this film would be perfect for a sequel, but it's perfect the way it is, and maybe they should leave it the way it is.
Oh, dude,
but
I'm restraining myself right now.
You're restraining yourself. How come?
Well, this almost did not make my list because I don't love this movie. This was rather disappointing to me when I first saw it, because
you're kind of a fan of the director.
Love the director.
Yeah.
Well, even though that might be pushing it, I love one of his films, which is Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which we saw together as well. But I was expecting a similar thing to that, which I got, but the overall story did not click with me, and I didn't like the villain or the villains in this. What I love about the movie is Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe and their interaction with each other. And I had to put it on number 10 because I think, as you said, this might be his funniest performance, Ryan Gosling. He's hysterical in this. He's so brilliant in this. That's why I put it on. And I love Russell Crowe in this as well. And I just love it's a detective story in the, 60s, 70s? I'm so bad with this.
70s.
Just trying to solve a mystery with lots of humor involved, which is always great. But it's just the overall story didn't work for me. And I'm going to let you continue the love for it.
Yeah, I think it's just a perfect mixture. First of all, the relationships and people working off each other. Like you said, Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe are just a comedic genius duo. They're perfect. And also Ryan Gosling and the girl who plays his daughter.
Yeah,
she's amazing. I love the scene where she's like, "Daddy, they're hookers and stuff." It's like, "Honey, don't say there's hookers and stuff. Just say there's hookers." Yeah, because he hates word and stuff, which is such a cool line.
Yeah, she is great.
She is amazing. And also, there's so many great slapstick scenes, like them throwing a person over a fence.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Great.
A huge laugh in the whole audience. Great moment. And yeah, I think it reminded me a bit of Death of Stalin, which I think is also an amazing comedy. I love both of those. What?
Don't like that one either.
All right. Well, maybe it's just my taste.
No, it is. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but if you like that kind of comedy, I think they both have amazing characters and people working off each other, and the way they just talk is amazingly funny. And you should definitely check it out. It's a comedy film that I can watch and rewatch, because my problem with comedies is there are a lot of cool comedies, but when I rewatch it, when the jokes, it's just not funny or entertaining anymore.
Yeah.
It's just the shock value of a joke in that moment. But Nice Guys I've seen now 3 or 4 times, and I think it kind of gets better every time.
Do you prefer it to Kiss Kiss Bang Bang?
I think so, but Kiss Bang Bang has been years since I saw it, and I only saw it once.
Okay.
That I would love to rewatch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's a lot that I don't remember anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I love that movie.
Yeah.
All right.
What's your number 4?
Well, my number 4 is, I believe, his best performance in his career. Of his career? Of his
Maybe.
career.
Yeah.
Lars and the Real Girl.
Tough cut.
Wow. That's outrageous. What are you talking about? Well, no, I rewatched this for this podcast. And I liked it even more the second time. I think this is genuinely him at his best. You could there's going to be 3 things above this on my list where I prefer the thing as a whole. It sounds so wrong to say the thing, but you know.
Yeah.
But if you don't know Lars and the Real Girl, it's about a guy who is so socially awkward and like twitches every time someone gets close to him, and I don't know how to describe him. It just, you feel for the guy, and the way he plays it, you just want to hug him and help him and just be there for him, even though that's exactly what he doesn't want you to do.
Yeah, I just want to say, don't you dare hug him.
Yeah. But he then, the character, buys a sex doll and just pretends, she's his girlfriend then, and he lives next to his brother and his wife, and he's like coming over there, and he's like, I got someone over, and I was wondering if I could bring her over to dinner, and she's like, especially her, like she's like super excited because she's like so happy for him that he finally found someone. And then there's this beautiful cut of them like sitting together, and there's just like this sex doll on the couch. And they're just all speechless. And Ryan Gosling, he's like, this is not an act. He genuinely, this for him is his girlfriend. And it's just, I mean, and he didn't buy this as a sex doll. This is his girlfriend, and he falls in love with her. I think her name is Bianca.
Yeah.
It sounds like such a weird premise, but it's then about sort of the whole community and family and all the people in the city eventually like accepting the fact that he bought a sex doll as a girlfriend, and then helping him, and then and just doing everything for him. And it's got Patricia Clarkson as his psychiatrist, and the way they do this, they just like, how does this start off? She goes there because she's sick.
Maybe she's like sick from her long travels. She should go to the doctor, and then she has to do therapy where she needs to rest afterwards for like an hour. And while she rests, they talk. So
she being the sex
therapy.
doll, yeah. And then, exactly, hidden therapy. And then by the time they're waiting, during the time they're waiting, like Patricia Clarkson is actually talking to Ryan Gosling's character. I mean, yeah. You saw this for the first time a couple of
I did
weeks ago, right?
a couple of days ago, and I thought it was an amazing film. And I heard about this film, like this quirky, cool, romantic, weird comedy drama, and I knew the premise, but I never realized that it was Ryan Gosling in the leading role until like looked up what am I missing of like his filmography.
Right.
And it is a great film, and I really liked it, but I wouldn't say it's his greatest performance.
Fair.
To be honest, and I just, like I said, it's also a great film, and I would have loved to put it on the list, but there's just so many other things that I had to put on first.
Sure. Oh, it was a tough one, absolutely.
And I argued, like, should I put it on, like, the 10th place? Maybe not, but maybe similar to your Drive pick, it's like my number 11, maybe 12.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's a cool pick, and there are a couple of really cool scenes, like when he's at the party and he's like dancing to Talking Heads.
Yeah.
With like Bianca in the wheelchair and they're accepting it. It's a really cool scene. And I thought to myself, if I had to move anywhere in the world, I would move there, because apparently this is the nicest town ever.
Right.
It's the sweetest people.
Do you remember the bowling scene?
Yeah.
Where he's like on a date with a real person.
Yeah.
And he's like, he always does this blinking thing where he's got like this red eyes, which I think is a genius move, because it sort of makes him both like lovable and like helpless and restrained and just awkward at the same time.
Yeah.
But there's that scene where he then, because his first bowling shot just like goes up completely the wrong way. But then there's like a couple of minutes later, he actually like hits some pins, and the way he walks back is just. I think he's genius in this because he's like restrained, awkward, like smiling, like he's proud of himself, but he doesn't want to show it, and he doesn't know what to do because he's so socially awkward.
Yeah, it's so sweet.
Love that scene.
And also, sorry, but
no, go.
No, I just want to say I just read that like apparently Ryan Gosling improvised a couple of little moments like before he like walks into the house, like him trying to gather his courage and like arguing with himself, like should I like ring the doorbell? It's just like it is a great performance of his. Maybe not his best, like I said, but it is great.
It is his best.
All right, if you say so.
It just shows his range, I think, as well, because this dude, you throw around the word range, and we do it all the time, but it just, if you compare the movies that this guy's done, it's incredible, like, and it's believable, which is the most important thing. I just think he's great in this, and this is directed by the guy who did I, Tonya as well. If in case that's a selling point to you, if you love that movie, please check out Lars and the Real Girl. It's a great movie. Yeah,
and talking about range, I like Ryan Gosling is a sexy actor. He's like this sex symbol. He's like this very bulky guy in a lot of his films. It's like if you look at like The Notebook or La La Land or whatever, Crazy Stupid Love, especially. He's like this bulky, like
hunk,
cool guy. Hunk, yeah, he's a hunk, and he's a hot guy. Like even in The Place Beyond the Pines, when he is like introduced at the beginning at the carnival, he's like handsome Luke.
All right, Gabe, comment down.
I'm just saying. And in this film, he's like the opposite. He gained some weight for it. He's got this mustache, and he doesn't seem like himself. Like you wouldn't recognize him as Ryan Gosling, the sexy romantic guy.
Right.
He's just Lars. He's socially awkward.
I'm glad you said that because I forgot to mention this at the beginning of the show.
He's hot.
Yeah. Yes, but he is a guy. He's a guy who is well known, and most people like him because he's hot, right? He's one of those actors, and I would compare him in that way to DiCaprio, where he's like a guy who everyone loves because he is good looking. But I think both of these guys are a prime example of that not being, like, they're not famous because they're hot. They're famous because they're fucking great at what they do.
Yeah.
And they just happen to be good looking, and that's certainly helping them in like attracting an audience. But I just think this guy, I mean, you could like him for being good looking, but if you like, I love him for him being a fantastic actor.
Dude, he's like one of the best actors working today. And I do love Jake Gyllenhaal. He's one of my favorite actors, but Ryan Gosling is just one of the best actors out there.
I would throw Gyllenhaal in that mix
as well. He's also one of the greats, and we talked about some of his performances. Yeah, they're both just up there and deserve even more love than they're already getting.
Yes. All right, what's your 4? No,
my number 4, like I said, is Place Beyond the Pines.
Yes.
Amazing film. So back to your number 3.
Oh, sorry. Oh, this is going to be interesting. So my 1, 2, and 3 are completely interchangeable.
All right.
I have no idea how I managed to end up at this ranking, but I'm just not going to change it now.
Dude, fair enough. I had a tough time with like 1 to 4. Like,
yeah. This is genuinely, my 3 could have been number 1.
All right.
I love this movie. I don't think it's going to make your list. It's The Ides of March.
I wasn't a huge fan of this film either.
Okay.
It's all yours.
I love it. This is one of those movies that I could watch this every week. I don't, but I could. It's a movie directed by George Clooney, and it's about sort of George a guy. It's about George Clooney. Yeah, George Clooney. He plays a presidential candidate, and Ryan Gosling is his campaign manager. And now, I mean, you got Philip Seymour Hoffman in this. You have Paul Giamatti. You have Marissa Tomei. You have Evan Rachel Wood, and you also have Max I don't know how to pronounce his name. Max Minghella, who is in Social Network. And this was one of the rare other films that I saw him in, and I was like, "This is the guy from Social Network." Lovely to see him. Max Minghella. He's the son of a famous director. I think his name is Anthony Minghella. Now I have to look it up because it's probably
right.
wrong.
He's got a very recognizable face, but
Anthony Minghella, yeah, the guy who wrote Talented and
Handmaiden. That's where I've seen as well.
Handmaid's Tale, you mean?
Handmaid's Tale, sorry.
Yeah. And it's just about a story about a presidential campaign, and it's about all the intrigues and is that a word? Intrigues? About the
Intricacies.
Intricacies? Wow.
Intrigue or intricacies?
Yeah, and just the backstabbing and the tumultuous nature of politics. And I love the movie, man. I love Philip Seymour Hoffman, my favorite actor, and you got. I mean, I just listed the cast; it's just incredible, and you got this. This is help me.
With the cast?
No, not the cast. Just how do I talk about this movie? I mean,
dude, like I said, it's all yours. I don't remember that much of the film, just because when I don't like a movie as much, like my memory goes out the window.
Yeah. Well, it's basically Ryan Gosling. He's sort of Paul Giamatti he's the campaign manager for the opposing candidates. I'm not sure if Gosling is now the campaign manager. He certainly works for
like
George
PR
Clooney.
or something like that.
Yeah, he works because I think Hoffman is like he's like the main campaign manager. I'm sorry if I got this wrong. But he's sort of tempted to then join the other side because he's so successful, and then he takes a call with Paul Giamatti's character who works for the other side, and then Clooney finds out about this, or Hoffman finds out about this, and he's like, why are you thinking of switching teams? And it sounds very basic and maybe a bit like dull. It is anything but that. I absolutely love the film. I'm struggling to convey this maybe, but please check it out if you haven't. I mean, it's got some great little twists in there, and
I think as far as political intrigue goes, it's an interesting setting, especially since it's not like people in office, but like how people like become presidents or like do all their like marketing stuff, which is like 90% bullshit,
right?
And sell themselves as people they aren't. It's in that regard, it's a very interesting film.
I think it's a very realistic portrayal of the whole like shenanigans that go on in politics.
Yeah,
even though
sure
this is not based on a true story, but yeah, and it's got some funny moments too, and just.
He's like part of a real political party. Is like said he's like a Democrat or a Republican.
I don't think it's ever said. It's been a while since I've seen this. I'm not too sure.
I want to rewatch it for a special, but I didn't get to because I thought to myself there are things that I'd rather rewatch because I didn't think it'd make my list. But who knows? Maybe if I'd rewatch it, it wouldn't have made my list, like Half Nelson. But
yeah. What's your 3?
My 3 is a film that you know I fucking love, and you said it before. There's gonna be another Derek Cianfrance film on my list, and it's Blue Valentine. I know it's not gonna be on your list because you only got 2 spots open. I pretty sure know what's on those spots, but I have no idea in which order.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, Derek Cianfrance is an amazing director, and he's made 4 feature films. I've looked it up, and like 3 of them are like more widely known. Those 3 films are Place Beyond the Pines, Light Between the Ocean, and Blue Valentine. And Blue Valentine, also like Place Beyond the Pines, obviously stars Ryan Gosling, and he plays this. I think it's the most realistic portrayal of love and what it can do to a person and how it can end.
Yeah.
And it's heartbreaking. It is heart-wrenching. It's so real that it's uncomfortable. Because the premise of this film is it's set into like 2 time. It kind of spans 2 timelines, kind of. Not timelines. It shows Ryan Gosling when he's
chapters.
Older. Yeah, maybe chapters. It's kind of switched between Ryan Gosling being older and married to Michelle Williams' character, and them having a daughter together, and then them being younger, like 5 to 6 years earlier, of them meeting each other,
right?
And how what young love does to them, because they're kind of from different worlds. Michelle Williams being like this college student, and Jake Gyllenhaal.
He's in this.
I wish he was. No, and Ryan Gosling being this like guy who doesn't really have a plan with his life and working like for a moving company, and them kind of falling in love because he is, like I said, in a moving company, and he kind of moves the furniture for her granddad who moved into a elderly home. And he meets Michelle Williams' character, and them meeting, the first meeting of them, and like the spark hitting and him trying to kind of get her attention, is so sweet and so it. Like we said, normal people's. Especially you said when you told me about it on the podcast, you said it's like one of the most real and organic conversations and people like how they would act with each other, especially when they're in love. And this is exactly what this film does.
Yeah.
Them showing how they fell in love and them showing kind of falling out of love when they're older and trying to at times reignite that spark. But it's just love and how it can end. And it's so beautiful. It is so beautiful. Like the motel, like the love hotel scene they go to.
Yeah.
Is so intense, and I still have to think about it from time to time because it's amazing and sad and beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. I couldn't put it on the list because there were things that I enjoyed more, but I certainly think this is one of the better love stories told on film.
Yeah,
and I mean, two remarkable performances by both Ryan Gosling and Michelle Williams.
And I think
excellent.
that I have to say. Yeah, because Place Beyond the Pines and Blue Valentine, both of his films with Derek Cianfrance, amazing soundtracks. They make you feel so hard, and yeah.
I remember that great scene where they're like, I mean, it's probably the scene where he's like playing ukulele and
and
she's
she
dancing
dances.
to it.
Yeah, so sweet.
Yeah, it's
Dude,
a
makes me
great
wanna
pick.
cry.
Yeah,
But I didn't cry.
okay, you're a manly man.
I know. Well, all right. Let's put some wrestling films on there.
Yeah.
All right, what's your number 2?
Well, 2 is Crazy Stupid Love.
All right, and I know what your number 1 is. Interesting.
Maybe. But I don't want to spend too much time on Crazy Stupid Love.
Yeah.
You could argue that I put it on my number 1 at the Emma Stone special because, and you said, you made a valid argument that she's not really in it for that much.
Yeah.
And I was like, I agree, but I still love the movie. And as I said, this could be my number 1. This is genuinely one of my favorite films. It could be.
I'm surprised that it isn't.
Yeah, it's just, I feel like in my number 1 spot, he had more to do.
Yeah.
And, but Crazy Stupid, I mean, that I think, please, if you want to hear me rave about it, then check out the Emma Stone special. And if you haven't seen it, please check it out. It's, for me, one of the best romantic comedies out there. And Ryan Gosling is just so funny in this.
Right,
yeah. Especially towards the end in that whole garden scene. I mean, it's one of my favorite moments where the police just sort of says, yeah, next time keep it in the family, and Ryan Gosling just breaks and he's just chuckling because Steve Carell, but like Steve Carell is like boiling inside. Love that scene and love that movie. That's my number 2.
Yeah, dude, a cool film, and it did.
What was that? Your number 9, 10?
Number 9, yeah.
Yeah.
Just because it's not like the Ryan Gosling performance. It's a funny and cool film, and I do love his role as this like womanizer who then falls in love.
Yeah.
But just looking at the list, there's just so many other great things that I had to put before it.
Yeah. I mean, it's fair, but I think it deserves to be up there.
Yeah, sure.
What's your 2?
Same could be said with La La Land, which I have at my number 2 spot, which you had your 6?
5, yeah.
5, all right, sorry. La La Land, nearly put it as my number 1 but we're going to get to it with the number 1 spot, why it was number 1, is number 1. La La Land, it is just an amazing performance. Once again, we talked about it on the Emma Stone special, and the same kind of points apply to him as they do for Emma Stone. The amazing thing is just them not just acting but also singing and doing so many things in this film, and
playing
especially
piano.
Ryan Gosling learning to play piano like the way he did. It's amazing because all the shots of him like playing piano is actually him, which is a rare thing for films to do.
I dabble in piano playing. What this guy did is unbelievable.
Yeah,
like he's incredible. I can't quite grasp how well he played in that short amount of time. How well
dude, he's a fucking force of nature.
He is. Yeah, he is.
That's why he's so amazing, and that's is why La La Land is so amazing, because I would have never seen him as a musical guy. I think nobody did.
No, I think, well, he was in the Mickey Mouse Club, and he was like, he started off in the...
That's when he was
dancer,
like a little kid, but
right.
I think nobody like saw him as that guy. At least I didn't, because I guess more romantic comedy, but him actually being such an amazing singer and musician for this film is, and the scene, I think my favorite scene, the song that I listen most to from the La La Land soundtrack is still And of course, I'm blanking right now.
City of Stars?
No. God, how could I not know this?
Which one is it?
When they're like walking back from the party and then dancing, when they put on their tap shoes, it's La La Land. It's Lovely Night.
That's what it's
What
called.
a waste of a lovely night. Yeah,
Right.
Forgive my singing. Anyway, yeah. Check out the Emma Stone special. It was my number one spot there, and I have a whole list of why this film is amazing.
I think this has like no. How do I say this? This movie shouldn't work, but the fact that it works is just because the two actors and the director, who's I think a genius already. I mean, he's done like what 3 films? Three
big films.
3 big films. Right. More than 3, but yeah. Damien Chazelle, he's just incredible, and he's now doing Babylon next with Emma Stone and Brad Pitt, which is very exciting. But La La Land is just a magical movie, and I mean, you got the Iran scene. I love that scene where they sort of meet again, and she's making fun of him.
Iran, the song, not the country.
Right. Thank you for clarifying that. And also the last look that they give each other.
Yeah, the ending is just
incredible.
Pure perfection.
I disagree with that, but the last look is acting brilliance.
Yeah,
what they can manage to convey with a look. I wasn't a huge fan of the last 10 minutes or whatever, but I didn't hate it. But the last look is incredible.
And I just have to say, I was also one of those people who was like, all right, La La Land's giving like winning all these awards or like being all so hyped, and I was like, all right, let's check it out. It's gonna be, I'm sure it's gonna be cool because I watched Whiplash with you before I watched this film, and I do like Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling, but I did not expect this film to blow me away the way it did, and I think a lot of people didn't expect that, and yeah, it deserves all the love.
Absolutely, great music. I mean, incredible music as well. All right, so I think
number one spot.
Yeah, it's definitely the same.
First time we got the same number one spot, and I'm so glad we did.
It is Blade Runner 2049.
What?
What is it?
The Believer.
What Ryan Gosling meme is it?
The
Believer.
Notebook. Come on, The Notebook.
Which is an admission that might be controversial. The Notebook. A lot of people love The Notebook.
I know. Maybe we can talk about it with honorable mention. But yeah, sorry. Yeah. It is Blade Runner 2049.
Blade Runner 2049. A movie that managed to do the impossible of actually living up to like a cult classic, and and a sequel that is justified.
And after after so long, because the original Blade Runner came out in the 80s, and it's been quite some time. Yeah,
I mean, I remember because I loved the first Blade Runner, and when I heard that Denis Villeneuve, who we talked about many times on the podcast, was going to do the sequel with Ryan Gosling, and just nerdgasm, if that's a word. But then, like, actually watching the movie, it came out around my birthday, and I remember we postponed watching it because I had like a celebration planned, and I was like, fuck, that's when the fucking movie comes out. And I was like, please, let's watch it together like the next day or whatever. And I was thankful that you guys were down to do that. I remember I saw it, I think 3 times in the theater. I
saw it twice as well.
I kept like grabbing people and telling them to watch this because it's incredible. Yeah. And another movie that flopped, unfortunately, because it was such a big budget.
Well, flop, yeah. I mean, critically, it was highly praised, but sadly, like, the big masses didn't go to see it because I guess a lot of people, like the new generation, don't know what Blade Runner is, or those who have heard of it haven't seen the original or didn't flock out to see it. And
the runtime was sort of part of that as well.
Yeah, nearly 3 hours. That's quite some time.
That scares people off.
Yeah.
But please check it out. I mean, it's just incredible. You got some of the greatest visuals on screen, and as we said, it's got it had a huge budget, and every single penny, you can see why they needed it, because I think I don't know for sure, but I would argue that a lot of the sets were practical, and
I think some were, yeah.
Sure. Well, yeah.
You couldn't do all of them.
You couldn't do
course,
all of them, yeah. But the director, he sort of, I know now the Dune trailer just came out, and he talked about practical effects and how much he values those, and I think it's apparent in Blade Runner.
I came so close to watching the trailer and then never watched trailers, but I'm just so excited by now.
There was like a whole reveal event which Stephen Colbert hosted.
Oh, really?
He like interviewed the cast, and then it ended with the reveal of the trailer, and I watched the whole thing, and I was like,
dude,
I had goosebumps like all over, even though I still have no interest in that movie if it wasn't for Denis Villeneuve directing it. Genuinely, but the trailer looks awesome.
But talking about Denis Villeneuve, with every time an actor has done a film with Denis Villeneuve, we've put it in like at least like the top 3 spot.
He's one of the best
of that person's list, because every single film that he's done, as far as I've seen, I'm only missing one, I think, is like a masterpiece, and
he's amazing. He's absolutely amazing.
He definitely is, and yeah, like you said, like actually managing expectations.
Yeah.
After so many years, because Blade Runner, the original, is such a beloved and one of the maybe most loved sci-fi films, maybe apart from like Star Wars, just because Star Wars is its own
Alien,
thing.
yeah.
But yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of Blade Runner the first. I did like it, but I think I was like, the expectations were too high. But when I rewatched it, I really loved it. I know you still don't believe me.
I believe you.
When I say it at the time.
I believe you.
For some reason, I need to rewatch some films to really appreciate them, like with like Half Nelson.
We all do.
And now I fucking love Blade Runner. And when you see Blade Runner and then you watch Blade Runner 2049, which I also watched more than once in the cinema, because it's such an amazing experience in IMAX. All that sound, all that soundtrack of everything moving in this film feels so real.
Yeah.
And actually bringing back moments from the first film and incorporating in the second one, but still being a standalone film that you could tell somebody watch Blade Runner 2049, they would, if they like sci-fi, would absolutely love it. Or like cyberpunk is more, I guess, the genre. But
I would still recommend to watch the first movie.
Definitely. And I think you appreciate it more and just get more out of some scenes. But I think it's still alright as a standalone film. But yeah, definitely watch the first one.
Yeah, watch the final cut version of the first one and then watch
Right, that's important because there's like 4 versions or 5
so many
out
versions, there. But it's just, I mean, the first one is sort of about a guy who... Basically, Blade Runner, there are replicants in Blade Runner, and then there's Blade Runners who are hunting replicants.
Yeah, replicants being like man-made artificial humans.
Right. And in the first
labor.
Sorry, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And in the first one, Harrison Ford plays the Blade Runner, and it's got very philosophical elements to it, an aspect to it, because he might not be who he thinks he is. Right?
Yeah.
And
you could say that, yeah.
The way in which they play with that elements of the film in the second one is genius. It is genius, because you think you know where it's going, and then you have no idea where it's going.
And it is even better than you're like, all right, that's a pretty cool concept what they did there. I love it. And then he does something else that's even better.
Yeah.
That's just shows that Denis Villeneuve was the right guy for the job. I mean, he didn't necessarily write the screenplay, but just how he portrayed it on screen or made it happen is, he was the right guy for a job, because anybody else could have fucked it up so hard and it would have been forgotten in time. But
it's written by the same guy who wrote the first one,
right?
And obviously the first one was directed by Ridley Scott, who then produced the second one. He didn't direct the second one, obviously, but
Ridley Scott being the sci-fi director,
right. And Hampton Fancher is the guy who wrote both movies. And they're based on a Philip K. Dick story. Do androids dream of electric sheep? No, but that's that's the one thing I know about Philip K. Dick. But please, I mean, don't let the runtime scare you off. Please seek out Blade Runner 2049. It's got Ryan Gosling. It's one of his best performances for sure.
And just an amazing love story with Ana de Armas.
Yeah, and
wow.
Well, I was going to say there's some great like sci-fi scenes that you haven't seen before, especially with there's like an element where he has like an AI girlfriend, and then a real life person or girl also is implemented there, because obviously he can't physically touch the AI. So he and then she like treats him and hires a prostitute to sort of play her body, which sounds about as weird as it
Wouldn't
is.
work in so many films.
Yeah, but it works in this one for sure.
It does, yeah.
It's just the visuals are just incredible in this.
And amazing action, because they don't shy away from
yeah.
action, just cut from with every punch, but you just see how people like hit each other, and like when somebody gets hit by a bolt, you just see it like plop out, or like at one point like missiles or something like that are thrown on to people, and you just see the arms and everything flying off, because not to like show too much gore, they don't like zoom in and say, oh my god, look what we're doing here, like to just put it realistically, just a gruesome world where human life is so dispensable.
Yeah, I mean, for just the first scene where like he fights Dave Bautista.
What a scene.
What a scene, dude.
And
incredible.
I love the quote from him, which I still have to think about regularly, where he just says, I like to keep an empty stomach before the hard part of the day is done. And then you have the scene which is coming up, and then him looking at the pot.
Yeah.
It's such a cool scene.
Yeah, I mean, we could go on and on about this.
Yeah,
it is a
really
sci-fi epic that more people should see. And please seek it out if you haven't. It's just an incredible double feature if you watch the first one and then the second one. It's quite remarkable, because as you said, there were like 35 years, I think, in between the two films.
Could be,
somewhere around that. And I mean, it was 82 and 2017. Yeah, 35. All right, that's it. That's the best thing that we've seen from Ryan Gosling, and we can now say that that's the best thing we've seen, because it is genuinely the same thing.
Yeah, and I'm sure you would love it as well. I don't know anybody who disliked it. If you are not completely opposed to that kind of genre, you're gonna love it.
Yeah. What's your? Do you have some honorables?
Yeah, a film that's maybe quite controversial is Only God Forgives. I finally watched, which I have had on Blu-ray for the longest time, and I actually really enjoyed.
Love that movie.
Yeah.
Yes, Gabe.
It's universally hated, and I liked it.
I would say it's similar to Stay in that way, where a lot of people didn't get it.
Maybe, I mean, a lot of people say it's style over substance, and at times I kind of agree with them, but it's got amazing scenes, and
so
it is
violent.
a cool film. Yeah,
so violent
but
as well,
in a very cool way.
Love that movie. Almost made my list.
Yeah,
it's one of my 4 honorables. Yeah, go on. Let's see if we have the same honorables too. Actually, we can't, because all of my honorables you've already mentioned. Sorry.
All right.
Notebook. No.
No, well, no. I'd say it's an honorable mention for me, just because it's like one of the romantic films.
Yeah.
Of like our generation, or maybe the one before that, like still talked about. It's like, yeah, one of the big romantic films. And like I said, The Believer is a very interesting film.
That's the one thing it's one of the 2 things that I didn't see.
Yeah, that's an interesting film. It's
that
based on a true story of a
Yeah.
Jewish man who joined a Nazi group and wants to kill Jewish people.
A very
He's
young
just
Ryan
very
Gosling. Right?
delusional. Was?
A very young. Was? A very young Ryan Gosling.
A very young Ryan Gosling,
Yeah.
With Summer Phoenix, Joaquin Phoenix's sister, playing his love interest. Well, very, very weird scene. Please watch the film so we can talk about this scene, because it's very weird. It's
Okay.
It felt very Eyes Wide Shut.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Some masks involved.
No, not really, but yeah, just check it out. What's on your honorable list?
Well, some of them we already talked about. I mean, there were Drive, Blue Valentine, Big Short, and Only God Forgives. Those are sort of the main 4 honorables. But now, since we already talked about them, I want to give a quick shout out. I watched the things that I watched for this are like, I watched Lost River, which is his
meant to watch it as well. Yeah,
directorial debut, which he doesn't star in, but I mean, I think it's not only his debut; it's the only film he's directed so far. Yeah, it was weird. You could sort of see the Refn influences there.
All right.
In like style over substance, I would say that. I didn't love the movie. Very weird, very weird. And you got Christina Hendricks and Ben Mendelsohn in this, who were like actors that he worked with. So it was quite funny and interesting to see, because Hendricks was in Drive and Mendelsohn was in Place Beyond the Pines, and he sort of like picked the actors that he worked with to star in his own movie, which I thought was quite funny. But I'm not even going to try and begin to explain the movie because it is. I couldn't. It's very weird. I also watched Murder by Numbers, the Sandra Bullock detective drama crime mystery thing.
Dude, it wasn't on my radar at all.
It was quite interesting. That's one of those movies that's actually good, even though it's bad. Yeah, Ryan Gosling and I don't remember the other guy's name now. I'm sorry, but they're like two kids who like kill someone just because they want to do it. They like want to plan the perfect crime and they want to get away with it, and they're just like bored out of their skull and they're just killing someone. And Sandra Bullock is just trying to figure out what the hell is going on as the police detective.
Interesting. All right.
Very weird. Got some of the worst CGI I've ever seen at the end. There's like a fall involved, and it is so bad. But it is like a movie from 2002. But
yeah, it's like movie from the early 2000s, like experimenting with CG is just it's quite terrible at times. Yeah.
Michael Pitt is the other young guy's actor. I just looked it up.
All right. And did you get to watch United States of Leland or Solitude? I think is the German title.
No, I didn't. There's two things I didn't get to watch that I wanted to see, which was The Believer and United States of Leland. One thing that I did watch, the last thing I want to talk about, is All Good Things, which is the Robert Durst story.
Right. Yeah.
When that's I think from like 2010, something like that, where he plays a fictionalized version of Robert Durst. And it's very interesting. There's like this slow deterioration into madness. He plays a very creepy guy who's in a relationship with Kirsten Dunst. And at one time he dresses as a woman. He's a very obviously he's a very he's like a psychopath in this. And it's a side that I haven't seen before in Ryan Gosling. And he plays it quite well, but the movie as a whole isn't really great. Even though
also from that I want to watch, but for some reason I thought it was by Lars von Trier. Maybe just because of Kirsten Dunst.
No, it's directed by the same guy who then did the Robert Durst documentary for HBO. So I thought that was quite interesting. And it stars Frank Langella and Philip Baker Hall. You're going to say maybe you don't know the names, but you know them when you see them. And it's got a good cast in it too. But the movie as a whole it didn't crack my list. And what was funny about both of those films, Murder by Numbers and All Good Things, in All Good Things, Nick Offerman, he plays Kirsten Dunst's brother. He's got like a prevalent role in this as a brother. And then I watched Murder by Numbers, and Nick Offerman shows up for like one scene as a cop, Sandra Bullock, what's the word? Just a fellow cop, right? Someone she works with. And I was like, is that Nick Offerman again? Literally for just one scene.
Dude, it's before his career took off, right?
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And Remember the Titans is something that I also haven't seen. But that's one thing. Yeah. It's supposed to be very good, but I'm not a big football fan, like American football fan.
Also, a quick shout out to Song to Song, which I know you love.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
You didn't like this one either, did you?
I liked it, yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, more than King of Cups, I think.
Okay.
Night of Cups. I'm sorry.
King's Cup, the drinking.
And also, I think that I want to mention with Lars and the Real Girl, he reminded me so much of Joaquin Phoenix in Her. Maybe it was just a mustache and just him being alone and socially awkward. But
yeah, absolutely.
Anyway,
last thing I want to say, the year 2011 is probably the most impressive year for any actor I've ever seen. Ryan Gosling in 2011, he did Drive, which I did make my list, but I still like. He did Crazy Stupid Love and Ides of March. Those are two of my favorite films. He did all of those in 1 year. Incredible.
Dude, he is incredible.
He's incredible.
His film career, like, taking off and doing things has not been that long, but it's been filled with so many cool things.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And the next thing, which we talked about on a previous episode as well, is a movie called The Gray Man, directed by the Russo brothers with, you remember?
With Chris Evans. Yeah.
Cannot wait for that, if we ever get to see it.
Dude, yeah. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And, dude, what a list. I love this list, and I love this special.
Yeah.
Just because, so many cool things that we got to talk about.
Absolutely. What a career. And, once again, hopefully we talked about some things that you haven't seen before. And we did only talk about movies, except for, obviously, thank you for your number 10 spot.
Yeah.
But this was, once again, a guy that is known for his movies. And if we would, I keep, whenever I say this, I have like Bryan Cranston in mind, who is
Dude,
now...
I thought the same thing today when I thought about people who we could talk about who did films and TV, but he's like one of the very few.
I think there's more than we think. I think there's more.
Well,
than we think.
a lot of big show actors like stick with shows or like do the same role for a very long time and then like don't break into movies as well. Like
True.
a lot of the time, not always, but a lot of the time.
But I think like
maybe with
shows
sure.
are like more mainstream now. Like Amy Adams did Sharp Objects.
Yeah.
Nicole Kidman
But
is doing Big Little Lies.
Yeah, I want to mention her. Yeah, maybe like something like that could be in there. But yeah, it's maybe mostly just one thing.
Yeah, I mean, they
It's
could
hard
sort
to
of
mix and match.
You know, over the years they can like these things can stack, and then they actually did like 3 great TV
Sure.
things. But
like Bryan Cranston is the very few people who did a sitcom and then broke into like serious roles, which is very rare. So
well, we'll have to do a
Who knows?
special on him someday. But hopefully, as we said before, this was a requested episode as well. We would
shout
have
out
done
to
it
that
too.
person.
Yes, and we hope it's satisfied. And yeah, as always, I mean, that's it. That's the list. And thank you so much for listening. This was fun.
Yeah, had a great time. Thank you so much. And as always, you can find us on Twitter or Instagram under Best Thing Radio, where you can see the great cover art that Flo's going to do for this episode. It's going to be 4 pictures of prominent Ryan Gosling roles, which I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, probably.
He's also doing the great intro, which you have already heard. I haven't, because, you know.
Yeah, I haven't heard it either. I hope it's good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And you can find us, of course, on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. We really appreciate a like or subscribe. It really helps us out. Maybe a review, thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever. And yeah, tell us what you think.
Yeah.
And maybe you get to watch one of those things. Maybe something you haven't heard about. And if you like to check it out, and maybe write us about it.
Yeah, please do. And we'll be back with a stacked episode next week.
Yeah,
of
so
a
many things
regular
to talk
episode.
about.
Yeah. We'll be back next week, and have a good week. And please spread the word about the show. And take care. Eat something good. What? Come on, give us some favorites.
What else is there?
I don't remember.
Have fun. I don't know. Good weekend. No, it comes out on Monday.
Yeah.
And have a great week. I don't know. Enjoy Ryan Gosling as we do.
Yes, enjoy looking at Ryan Gosling.
Just listen to him. Such a good voice.
Whatever.
All right.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.